this before. I feel out of control.
Let's just start and say, the disclaimers that they have when you like see the X Games or something, where you're like, don't do this at home. I would put that disclaimer down underneath everything that I'm saying right now. Please don't try to. These are trained professionals. Don't do this at home. So for me, it was born of in maybe different things, which is that I prefer minimalism. I prefer limited, closed spaces to tell stories. I prefer to be incredibly prepped and draw every single frame. My natural tendencies, I like you to see new people. I like to cast new people. My natural tendencies lean us to a very economical way to make movies. And so I went, oh, well, that's my natural tendencies anyway. Why don't I just take the risk and thereby benefit by having creative autonomy to take even more risks, which, in my opinion, are essential to breaking through in the movie theater. So it's that process. And look, it could have gone badly. And so, there's a sense of randomness that's involved. And so no matter how much skill you bring to the table, there's randomness that comes to the table that can work in your favor or against you. And I've been extremely lucky, from The Visit to Split to Glass to Old to Knock at the Cabin and Trap and the TV series 4 seasons of Servant. That's a lot of luck that has gone my way. And I'm not saying that in anything other than.
At that point, it's not luck.
No, that's not true, because it is a lot of luck involved. We released Old and the COVID hit, and literally there was a resurgence on the weekend, and it really hurt us. Luck comes in and out like that, so it's a very dangerous game to play. But because the modest budgets, I think there's been a ramification because of that. Because we make them small, like-minded people come to the table. No, I cannot pay that cinematographer that enormous amount of money per week. I can't. So, but if we succeed, maybe you'll succeed with me. That kind of thing. And the same thing with the actors. And so you get like-minded people to join you. And so that was a ramification I didn't realize was going to happen. And it did. And so we have kind of, this band of people that are doing it for inspiration. And so it's been that's been, I think, the secret sauce of it all. I mean, look, there's been, the great masters that have done it. Chaplin did it on The Great Dictator while Hitler was in power, and Hitchcock did it on Psycho. Coppola himself did it on Apocalypse Now. I mean, there's been examples in history. So each person has to, make that call. As I said, I put a giant disclaimer on it because it's really, really, really dangerous to do. Really dangerous.
I was asking Saleka about this, and she was saying, I was asking was it stressful on you guys as a family? And she was like, no, I think he just kind of he kept that stress separate. He kept that work separate.
I'm really happy that my daughter said that, because I feel like I was such a total wreck during The Visit, especially, that I'm so glad my daughter didn't feel the pain of all of that, because I feel like I've tortured my kids and my family with my living, my choice to make movies in this way. And so that's sweet. But I hope that they understand that I am trying to espouse the value system, burn the house down for an idea. That let's go live in that 1-bedroom apartment over the garage and rent it, for the right idea. And that's just, that's what I believe. So, and I hope I'm walking that walk.
It also feels like you've been sort of deliberate about both protecting your daughters for a long time and then also preparing them as both artists and for public life. They obviously both sort of came out with things this summer and feel very ready for it in a way. And so tell me about your sort of deliberateness in that process, it feels like.
Yeah, making sure that they understand that the equation isn't about anything exterior. It's not about opportunity or any of that stuff. It has to be a lifetime of a curation of your craft, your relationship to your craft. Everything, the ramifications of that are the ramifications of that, and they're irrelevant. I can't say to you, if you nailed the craft and it was a negative ramification, that's a bad thing. I can't tell you that, nor can I tell you a great reaction to your not so great craft relationship is a good thing. I can't tell you that. It's just you and your craft. And so for me, you know, Shauna directing 6 episodes and writing 11 episodes of Servant, all of these things were under that pressure, or Saleka for 23 years writing music and making music and touring and thinking, you know, and turning down, like in Saleka's case, turning down enormous opportunities to be successful early in a kind of traditional way in the system, but that's not how she's built. And if she had said yes at the wrong time, you know, you're selling yourself in a way that you won't forgive yourself, and you won't forgive the audience for it either. I've been spending a lot of time recently on how we grow. So I've been reading a lot of books about that. And this particular book called Peak, about the art of deliberate practice, and what does that mean, you know, and how does one grow? It's, you know, you have to do things that are slightly beyond you. You have to keep doing that so your muscles are tearing, and then they grow back stronger. And so you have to get in the habit of like doing that, pushing just a little bit more, setting a little bit higher standard for yourself, constantly like that. And so it's a fascinating thing, because I espouse this all the time, saying talent is process. That's all it is. There's not, you know, it isn't this innate thing. It's nothing like that. It's just, you know, Shauna, if you have directed more episodes than other people, you're learning more. Direct, fail, do it as fast as you can. You know, write. Same thing with Saleka. Just, she is always in the studio writing and singing, always. You know, from her teen years. So forget 10,000 hours. How about 40,000 hours of specific things? So she's uniquely practiced and has a process that allows her to do, hey, Saleka, can you write me 14 songs in 6 months and perform them in the movie and then act in the movie? Well, there's very few people that have a process that would allow that to happen, and she's one of them. So it's this book called Peak that I recommend to everybody.
I can't get away. I can't stop. I'll just do this one last one.
Enjoy the rest of the concert.